Okay, so here we have two batteries with insulation faults. So I'm going to show you how to test them and know for sure if the battery is the problem or not. So first thing, you need your insulation tester or mega ohm meter, and I'll show you how to set it up. There's multiple selections, 1,000, 500, 250, 100. So what voltage range do you choose? You want to do double the battery voltage. Doesn't have to be exact. This one's about a little over 200 volts, so we're going to go to 500. Now you've got two wires. One connects to ground, so I'm going to ground it out on the case or the frame of the vehicle. And the other one, wherever you touch, it's going to measure resistance. So I'm going to push test. Now how this works is it sends electricity through everything and it sees how much comes back. Since we have to measure really high resistance, this meter puts out high voltage. It's not a high voltage that will hurt you, but you'll definitely get a shock out of it. So I push test, the warning light comes on, it tells me it's putting out 527 volts. So I'll test the meter. When I touch this, it should go to near zero, and it does. So it's saying there's pretty much zero resistance from the case to case. Now when I go test high voltage components, we want a really high number, like the 550 mega ohms. The capital M is for mega. So I'm going to push test. I'm going to test both sides of the battery, and I'll explain what I mean by both sides. Now, we have the safety plug out. When you take the safety plug out, you break the battery into half. So you need to test both halves. Right here, your two high voltage wires come in. This battery has the safety plug out, so it's safe. I'm not going to get hurt from touching anything over here. But you have your positive and your negative that comes in, and they both go to one side of the battery. So I need to test both sides and see what readings I get. So this first one, I push down, and I get a reading of 550 mega ohms. It's good. Go to this next one, and it's really low. It's bouncing around. I'll explain why in a little bit why it bounces around, but the numbers should be pretty static. So we definitely have an issue. Here at my shop, this is where the testing stops. We know that the hybrid battery is the issue, and we tell the client what they need. So let's break this down even further and show you how you can know with absolute certainty that the hybrid battery is the issue. So we're going to take this cover off, and then come around over here, Michael. We need to figure out which side that we need to test. So the one that failed was this side here. And there's these two wires. So if you follow the wires, we got a wire on top and a wire on bottom, a heavy gauge. That top wire goes right here. And the bottom wire goes over here. So we know that the problem is on this side of the battery. And the battery pack gets split in half over here. So I'll go back to the other side. So I'll take these covers off over here. This is where the battery pack gets split in half, right here. This is where the safety plug goes. So our problem is somewhere in this side. So I'll show you how to test and know for absolute certainty that the battery is bad and how to figure out exactly which cell has gone bad. I'm just going to unbolt all these now. You can stop it.
Go.
So I took off all of these nuts. So now these bus bars come off. And now we're just going to go cell by cell and see if we find an issue. Perfect, 550, same. There we go. And if you do the next cell, that cell is also appearing to be bad, but that's because if you follow these two cells here, they're connected with the bus bar over here. If you disconnect this bus bar, one of these is going to fail. So now we know with certainty that the hybrid battery has failed. So we've got another one over here. We'll do the same thing. This one I actually haven't even figured out yet. This is one that just came in. So we'll take the cover off. Safety plug is out. And we'll do our initial insulation test. There we go. That one's really low. I'll test the other side for the sake of it. 550. Now once again, we know it's on this side, so we'll follow that. If you guys remember, the heavy gauge wire on the bottom runs all the way to the end. So our problem is over here on this side. So you can disconnect all the bus bars from one side or the other and touch and figure out exactly which cell has failed. But in the actual field, all you need to do is test here and you will know. One other thing to mention is that you want to disconnect the wires from the BCM so you don't get a false reading. So come on this side and I'll point some stuff out. So when we're doing our insulation test, we're testing the insulation of all of the cells. Now anything connected to them is going to be tested for insulation. And each one of these blocks has a single wire that goes to it, and all these wires run in the harness and go into the battery control module, BCM. And this is grounded out to here, so you will get a false reading if this is not unplugged. So just make sure you unplug the voltage acquisition wires from the actual module, and that's pretty much it. These tests in real life we find in like a minute or two. All we do is we uncover the battery, take this cover off, do our 2 readings there. If it fails, and that's all that we need to know.